So I got back from PAX East a little while ago, and let me tell you, I had a great time. As I do every year, I packed up my bags, flew out of Billy Bishop Airport in Toronto, landed in Boston, drove through some of the worst traffic that I see every single year, checked into an Airbnb that would probably, make prison blush, meet up with some lifelong friends, and go to a con about video games. If you're unfamiliar, PAX as a whole is typically a convention that people collectively come together and try out new video games and tabletop games that are either about to release or going to release in the future. Every company of every size shows up, whether it's small indie titles all the way up to AAA developers like Bandai Namco. But beyond the con floor, there are panels and activities that you can do outside of those games out and around the convention. And one of those is tournaments. So while we were off on our PAX East adventure, I came across a banner that listed tournaments for the convention. And lo and behold, on Friday, it said that one of the tournaments was Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Yep, CTR Nitro Fueled got an official in-person tournament. I had to sign up. Now, if you don't know and you're newer to the channel, I used to cover CTR Nitro Fueled extensively. And if another one is made, I can pretty much promise I will cover it just as much, if not more, again. Hint, hint, Xbox. However, it has been a long time since I had seriously played CTR. I used to be pretty decent back in the day when the game was at its peak player base, but it has been months since I had actually played the game, and years since I played it seriously. Now, this isn't my first CTR Nitro Fueled tournament, as PAX East in 2020 also had a Nitro Fueled tournament. And shockingly, I actually won that tournament. Now, I've been back to PAX East every year that they hosted, and I checked every year. And again, there was no CTR after 2020. So to see it come back in 2025, that was certainly a treat. But if I won the last PAX East CTR tournament at PAX East, that would make me returning champion, right? That's a lot of pressure. Now, like I said before, in 2020, there were only about 10, maybe 15 people at the most. But this year, for 2025, there were 30 plus people. Suffice to say, I was antsy and I was nervous. But then, something crazy happened. The tournament runners came forward and gave us the rules, and I was not prepared.
You are not prepared.
Now, the initial rules were totally fine. Each bracket would do the same cup races. After the end of the cup, the top two would move on to the next bracket. It was 4 racers and no AI. Okay, that's not terrible. What's the issue with that? Well, the thing is, the PlayStations that we used were PlayStation 4s, and they didn't have access to internet. And they were installing the game right before the tournament started. And when we got close, we found out these were day one discs. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that these are the games that came when the game initially launched, which means if we don't have internet, this is launch day CTR Nitro Fueled with no day one patch and no balancing. Why is that an issue? Well,
bruh.
That's so stupid, but I'll take it.
Day one CTR's item spawns were absolutely chaotic and just all over the place. It was so bad that it was fixed in a patch fairly early in the game's launch window, which we didn't have. Additionally, with there being no bots, 0 AI, the person in last place, who was 4th, would be getting strong weapons even if the person in first was still relatively close to them. Also, engine swapping was not a feature on day one, as they were locked to the characters like they had been in the past. So, guess who I picked?
Dingo, dingo, dingo.
But I wasn't the only CTR nerd to join the tournament. Some of my close friends also signed up, like King Shoop and Acid Monkey Cart. So I knew this was going to be tough. Let's get to the first round. The first round was the Nitro Cup. When I was called up to race, TK, a follower of this channel and a teacher that helps those who are neurodivergent, recognized who I was. One of his students, who went by the name of El Meister, was one of the racers in my bracket. I didn't hear this at the time, but on playback, I heard this.
So, I know a Canadian guy who has history with this guy. He's going up against one of my students. Yeah, he's going to die.
I just want to take a second to give a huge shout out to TK and all the work that he does for his students back at home. We'll be seeing more of him later on as well. So, what happened? Well, like I said, on the first bracket, we played on Nitro Cup. In my bracket, it was a 3-banger, meaning there were only 3 people in this bracket, but still, the top 2 moved on. Here's how the first bracket went. I had gotten first place across the board on the first cup. There wasn't too much to highlight, and I'm not going to break each race down as it's kind of self-explanatory. It was good though, because the tracks were pretty easy and allowed me to get warmed up. But right away, the clocks and blue orbs were immediately felt, and this would be nothing but a prelude to what would happen in my races later on. Besides the onslaught of weapons, the only mess up of note was the shortcut in Mystery Caves. I don't like taking the shortcut in weapon races because it's risky and doesn't shave off a lot of extra time. Besides that though, smooth sailing through the first cup and first bracket. Myself and El Meister moved on to the next round. In the next bracket, we had gotten the Wampa Cup. I got first in Crash Cove, second in Tiger Temple, first on Blizzard Bluff, and first on Cocoa Park. Now, some of you might ask, what exactly happened in Tiger Temple? Well, I struggle with Tiger Temple's pathing sometimes for the shortcuts, and as some of you may know, if you don't get the right items at the right time, or get hit with the wrong items at the wrong time, then you're not going to have a good time on this seemingly simple track. The other race of note was Blizzard Bluff. I was able to break ahead and stay ahead pretty early. I didn't have enough speed to do the shortcut on the first lap, but was able to nail it on laps 2 and 3. But remember, it's pre-day 1 patch, and while I had a pretty far lead, this happened.
He's on his third F1 season, and he's currently leading the Drivers' Championship. I'm like, bro.
Of course you got an Uga Uga, that's crazy.
Yeah, so basically I saved it to get past the boulder and to lock in the shortcut. Now it was time for the semi-final bracket. We played on Crash Cup. How well did I do? I got first in Polar Pass, third in Engine Labs, second in Hot Air Skyway, and second in Slide Coliseum. This bracket was rough, and I mean that with a capital R. So I'll give you more details about what happened. In the first race, the reason why I was able to win was simply because I was able to nail the shortcut 2 out of 3 times. Meanwhile, Lemons, another great CTR player, tried 1 too many times and decided to just skip it. On the third lap, I had gotten hit at the shortcut and had respawned, but I decided against going for it and went the long way around. Anyway, this allowed me to get first place. In Engine Labs, everything that could have happened to me happened. Blue orbs, clocks, gigantic barrel hitboxes, and everything in between at the worst possible times. So sadly, Lemons got first in that race and I had taken third. In Hot Air Skyway, a lot more of the same happened. I did mess up on the first jump pad and for some reason thought the shortcut was on the left. It's on the right. This messed me up and kept me behind for the rest of the race. On the final lap, I was in third place and I knew I had to lock in if I wanted to stay in the running in this tournament. If I got third again, I was in danger of being eliminated. I raced as hard as I could and nabbed a few missiles. I hit the jump ramp and saw the person in second place. I hit them with the rockets, zipped past them, and took second place and crossed the finish line. Barely. The last race was Slide Coliseum. And to be honest, I just had a mental blank on this one. I don't know why I expected it to be turbo track for some reason. And when I saw the track, my mind went blank. I've forgotten all the shortcuts. I've forgotten basically this entire track in general. I needed to have a 1 lap refresher on the first lap to remember the shortcuts and how the track actually just, you know, worked. And of course, Lemons, remembering the track, took off on the first lap and I couldn't catch up. But I did okay enough of a performance to land second place in this track. Overall, Lemons placed first in this bracket and I placed second in this bracket, meaning we were moving on to the finals. After that last bracket, I actually started to feel a bit shaky. Was I too cold to bring it home? Was I just too rusty? The adrenaline and nerves legitimately started to hit me. So when we sat down, we were given a choice as to what the final cup we will play in. Will it be the Crystal Cup or the Velo Cup? Sewer Speedway is great and all, but as a finale to an over 2-hour tournament compared to Velo's Highway? Come on now. So we chose the Velo Cup for a chaotic way to finish off this chaotic tournament. So what happened? In the first race, Infernal Island, I started off a little bit weak, but took the lead when White Tiny Tiger took the speed ramp on the right at the end of the track. I was able to maintain a good lead and got a blue shield on the last lap to stop a rogue entropy clock from knocking me out. First race, we got first. The next track, Meteor Gorge, also didn't start well. I was stuck in the wasp nest of item death right away, falling down to 4th. But then I nabbed an Uka Uka and slipped into 2nd place. I grabbed the TNT crate and very tightly slipped it onto the other Dingodile. Because he launched off the ramp immediately after I dropped the TNT crate, he could not jump to get it off. I broke away and led the race until right at the very end of the last lap, where a blue orb had hit me and knocked me off the ramp. 2 other racers were right on my tail. I respawned, launched off the ramp as one of the competitors launched the homing missiles, and they hit me right as I crossed the finish line.
This is your last call. We're about to switch over to so without please come over here and have your match in. Check in. You're not checked in. Please come check in. Come on. Yes! 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 Oh!
Like, nice. Can you give me that one?
No! Once again, we nailed first place. The next race was Assembly Lane. Again, much like the previous races, the first lap was not good. Blue orbs, piston hammers, missing a shortcut, you name it, it happened. But missing that shortcut on lap 1 may have been what saved me in this race. See, the dingo over here did make the shortcut and dropped a red bottle on it. I skipped it completely because I didn't like my angle or speed at that time. But the 2 other racers also didn't take that shortcut. On the second time around, I had nabbed an Uka Uka and activated it right before the shortcut just in case someone had left a crate or a bottle. Well, Dingo was in first, but took the shortcut and hit his own bottle and wiped out, allowing me to zip into the lead with Uka Uka speed boost. This allowed me to finish off the race and nail down first place once more. Then we got to the finale, Velo's Highway. This was a disaster. Just straight up, no way to put it other than a disaster. Right away, at the start of the race, I missed the first item box, and before I could even hit the launch pad, I got hit with a clock and missed my chance at blue fire. I eventually crept up to second, got a fully juiced Uka Uka, activated, and completely missed the speed ramp, causing me to lose my blue fire right away. Oh, and then immediately got hit with the clock after the portal. I had a close call that made people around me gasp. Got hit with a homing rocket, and then when I hit the blue fire ramp and was maintaining speed, it was promptly taken away. I then hit a green potion through the portal and then had another one dropped in front of me right before the launch pad, causing me to spin out and die. Then when I thought I would finally get off my blue fire after the respawn, I got hit with another clock. I tried to build up speed for when the clock came off to make the shortcut, and I missed it, placing me in 4th place. And then, lo and behold, I got an Uka Uka. I activated it, and it did nothing. It just went poof. It just did not work. Ladies and gentlemen, pre-patch CTR. Sadly, it did not get any better than that, and I ended the race in 4th. But because I placed first in my first 3 races, I had enough points to hold the top position, meaning yes, I won the Crash Team Racing Tournament at PAX East 2025. But what did I win? Well, I had gotten a PAX East 2025 medal, and shout out to TK because he was the one that actually got second overall and was the other Dingo Dial in the last bracket race. But as you know, you don't win medals like this in CTR, you win trophies! Luckily for me, I run a small 3D print farm and already designed some CTR trophies for the Etsy store. So I took my design that I already made, tweaked it, printed it, and set my PAX medal into it. Now it's a CTR trophy. Now, while you can't get this one because, you know, this one's mine, I do have other trophies in store, both full size and even half size. Links are in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and hopefully I'll see you guys at the next PAX East tournament. Bye-bye!